everybody. I'm Brittany Lewis, a breaking news reporter here at Forbes. Joining me now is Belleville, New Jersey Mayor Michael Melham. Mayor, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
It's a really interesting topic today because for the past month, residents in New Jersey and beyond in other Northeast states have seen drones flying by, mysterious drones. They've raised more questions than answers that we've received. So to kick off the conversation, can you tell us what you know?
Sure. As you said, this started 4 weeks ago here in New Jersey. And about 3 weeks ago, it really ticked up, I would say. So much so that last week, myself and about 500 other mayors here in New Jersey were invited to an unprecedented briefing down at New Jersey Police Headquarters. It was not only every mayor in the state, but it was also every member of our state delegation, our state legislature. So we were told when we got down there that by the time we left, we would know every single thing the state of New Jersey knows. Well, it could have been a 5-minute Zoom meeting because we know very little. They know very little. So if you take some of the little bits of information they told us, but more importantly, sometimes what they haven't told us, we're able to piece some different things together. So the information has been slow to come. This past Monday, because mayors like myself have been really calling out for some truth here and transparency, we were all invited to a White House briefing. It was the White House Office of Intergovernmental Affairs. And that meeting went about 45 minutes. And again, next to nothing. I mean, literally telling us we're seeing things, mostly manned, a lot of misidentification, nothing to see here. Yet, the crazy part about that is that that was on Monday. Less than 24 hours after that, the House Intelligence Committee convened a classified meeting that lasted more than 3 hours. So questions mayors and myself have been asking, well, what did they talk about for 3 hours at a classified meeting with the Intelligence Committee about drones in New Jersey, yet told mayors the day before, nothing to see here?
When there's nothing to see here, when that's said, that really makes conspiracy theories run wild. But a lot of constituents, even lawmakers themselves, have seen things. As you said, you were able to piece together some things. What exactly were you able to piece together?
So we have a little bit of facts that we've garnered in the past month or so, especially in the last week, that we've really ticked up calling for openness and transparency. So here's what I know from our briefings. I know for a fact that we were told there are drones hovering over New Jersey's critical infrastructure. What is that? Well, here in New Jersey, we have 2 nuclear plants. We have the Picatinny Arsenal. We have multiple reservoirs. We have Trump Bedminster. So plenty of infrastructure here, plenty of top security sites here in New Jersey. We know for a fact that drones are over them. We also know, and this is a quote from our governor, one of the rare times he's actually spoken on this. By the way, I didn't mention that when we convened that meeting last week with every single mayor, the governor was a no-show. He had about 200 COVID-related press conferences, yet has been very, very quiet on this topic. So we know for a fact that they're up there. Our governor, in one of the rare statements that he did make, he said that our New Jersey State Police helicopters have actually gone up, this was early on, and tried to actually pursue or try to get close to a drone, and the drone turned off and disappeared. Those are his words, not mine. We also know from our state police that these drones are not emitting radio frequencies. So when people say we're seeing personal drones or we're seeing commercial drones, and believe it or not, there is some misidentification going on. I'll give you that. But when people say that these are nothing but personal drones and commercial drones, it's simply not true. These drones are high tech, something like our government would have, or maybe a foreign adversary would have. They are not emitting a radio frequency, which makes it really difficult to track them, but makes it impossible to knock them out of the sky with a jammer. Because if they don't have a radio frequency, you can't jam them, you can't bring them down to the ground.
So who do you think then is operating these drones? Do you think it's a foreign adversary? Because this story reminds me a lot of the Chinese spy balloon from earlier this year. Is it something nefarious? President Biden himself said he believes there's nothing nefarious. Do you believe him?
I don't. Listen, the administration has said some crazy things. You got the president finally speaking on this thing. He said nothing nefarious. After the members of the House Intelligence Committee was briefed, they came out and they all towed the party line. Nothing to see here, nothing nefarious, no credible threat. However, the chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee has come out. He said he believes they're Chinese drones. Yet another congressperson from New Jersey has said it's an Iranian mothership off our coast. So these are the top level federal officials that are giving us such misleading and different information. That's really the crazy part here. We can't get a straight story out of anybody.
So who do you think needs to be more transparent? Obviously, you think the federal government does, but do you think the state government in New Jersey needs to be more transparent? Do they know more, do you think, than they're letting on, than they're even telling you and other local lawmakers?
Our governor has been suspiciously quiet. So he says he doesn't know. The state police say they don't know. I believe the state police and I believe our New Jersey Homeland Security that they say they're not getting any information, therefore they don't know. I believe that. But yet, if I was governor of this state, I'd have myself in Washington, D.C. right now demanding answers from our federal government. Perhaps our governor does know something, but he's not talking. Somebody at the state level, if they know, needs to speak. Definitely somebody at the federal level needs to speak. It's real, as you said it before, the lack of truth and the lack of transparency does nothing but fuel online conspiracy theories. So the faster that we know the truth, the faster that these online conspiracy theories will actually start to quell.
And you said earlier this week in an interview that you think that they could possibly be looking for missing radioactive material. Do you still think that could be the case?
I said that I believe they're searching for something. So that's a kind of an interesting interview. If you actually listen to everything that was said, I know things got taken, out of context a little bit on social media, and I'm totally fine to clarify. Here's what I said. I know for a fact that we have drones that are hanging out over our critical infrastructure. Depending on your perspective on that, it's either cause for concern, or if it's not cause for concern, it's cause for comfort. Cause for concern would be you think it's a foreign adversary hanging out over our airspace. I don't believe that's the case. I believe these are our federal assets. I believe that just like through the Bush era threat levels, I remember the color-coded threat levels. We were at a certain threat level, we did X. A certain level, we did X, Y. So I think that our government is aware of a threat. I think that we have the resources, no doubt, to put some drones up in the sky just to cover, look at our critical infrastructure to make sure nobody's, messing around inside there. I also do know that drones are flying in a grid-like pattern. Why would they be flying in a grid-like pattern? Only if they're looking or searching for something, or as we would say, sniffing for something. You could put a drone up in the sky, and it could be there for 5 minutes, take pictures, and you're done. Or put a drone up in the sky, take video for 5 minutes, and you have all your mapping you need. You don't need drones showing up in the same spot every single night doing the same grid-like pattern. Therefore, you're led to the conclusion that potentially they're there sniffing or looking for something. At that point in the conversation, it was brought up about missing radioactive material. Now, this is true. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is not a rumor. Absolutely for a fact that the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Committee issued on their .gov website an alert for missing radioactive material in New Jersey on or about December 2nd. It was shipped, it arrived, damaged, and empty. Now, I never said that I believe we're out there looking specifically for that, but I have in other interviews said that the fact that we're up there sniffing for something means, in my opinion, that we're aware of a specific threat, and potentially there could be aware of something that came in through Port Newark, let's just say. It could be a suitcase nuke. I mean, it could be a dirty bomb, or it could be radioactive material. I do believe that our government has the ability to sniff from the sky via drones, and I do believe they're looking for something.
President-elect Donald Trump also believes that President Biden himself, the military, and the government know more than they're letting on about these drones. And he said this, quote, "Something strange is going on. For some reason, they don't want to tell the people." Why do you think there isn't more transparency? Why do you think the government wouldn't want to exactly say what's going on to squash these really wild conspiracy theories?
I mean, the only plausible conclusion you can come to is the fact that if they did tell us, we would be even more scared. So I think they have to really come clean. I did see that President Trump interview. He did say that our government knows. He did say our president knows. More than likely, President Trump knows because I believe he receives the same exact briefings that the president does since he's president-elect. He also did say, which was cause for some concern, that he will not be in New Jersey this weekend. That really didn't make people here in New Jersey, feel very comfortable. I'll tell you that much.
Does that make you feel comfortable? Because you're a mayor in New Jersey. When you're hearing the president-elect saying, I'm going to hold off on going to this state, what does that mean to you?
It's scary. Listen, our residents are scared. They're agitated. They're anxious and they seek us. They seek the mayors. That's why those 500 mayors have all been rallying for truth and transparency. Because guess what? The average person is not getting to their congressman, is not getting to their U.S. senator, certainly not getting to any other official in state or federal government. They're coming to us. They're messaging us on social media. They're stopping us when we're walking around town. They want answers from us. And it's very difficult for us when we have to look at them in the face and say, we don't have the answers, but we're trying. We're trying to get answers from the state. We're not getting them. We're trying to go to feds. You know, we've had one of our congresspeople here in New Jersey, Josh Gottheimer. Interestingly, he's running for governor. Last week, he came out pretty strong, demanding answers from the federal government. Well, guess what? Congressman Josh, he sits on the Intel committee. He was briefed in that classified briefing. He came out after that and said, really, there's nothing to see here. You can't have it both ways. You can't call for truth and transparency a week ago and then kind of clam up after you've been briefed. Clearly, something was discussed for 3 hours in a classified meeting. It only took about 45 minutes to tell the mayors nothing the day before. So what else did they speak about for another 2 hours and 15 minutes? Clearly, they know something that we don't know.
I mean, I'm in New Jersey right now. I know some people in my personal life who have seen the drones hovering above their apartments. So my final question to you is, what question do you have that you want answered immediately?
What are they searching for? I no longer question who owns the drones, who they belong to. I don't question that anymore. I have, enough facts that I'm aware of to draw some plausible conclusions. And I truly do believe they are ours. They're our government assets. So therefore, the question I have is, what are they doing up there? They're not up there normally. Why are they there now? And why do we have certain drones that appear to be on patrol, doing routine patrols in a grid-like format and saying, what are they looking for? I'm no longer asking whose they are. I think we can draw that conclusion. I'm asking, why are they up there? Are you aware of a specific threat? If so, we need to know.
Well, Mayor, I appreciate your transparency for sure. And as the situation develops, as we learn more, I hope you can come back on and join me. Thank you again for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.